This is Reverend Tonie Tate
and Bishop Dr. Tonya Sumner Brown, driven to achieve achievers.
Where are we at, Bishop?
We are at the Hope Global World Conference.
Wow.
We're just hanging out. Well, Tony and I, you might find us anywhere.
Let me tell you
We're trying
something.
to stay inspired. We want to remain achievers.
Let me tell you something, folks. It's some perks to being Bishop's friend. We are at the conference, and these tickets are $650 per person. Guess who's here? We're here.
Hey, well, last night, guess who was here? We had Chris Tucker.
Yes.
Andrew Young.
Yes.
Jesse Jackson.
Wow.
John Hope. What's his name?
John Hope. Brian.
Who is the owner and the founder of all this stuff. You know, when I grow up, I want to be just like him. He knows everybody.
Yes.
He's worked with several presidential candidates and all presidents and all of that, but more so I want to be like him because he's doing what I want to do.
Absolutely.
And that's what you need to do when you want to be an achiever. Find somebody who's doing what you want to do.
Hey, you know what?
What?
In our book, Driven to Achieve Achievers, we use each letter of the alphabet to talk about spiritual principles, and the letter U stands for unity. Tell me, Doc.
Well, unity is what we're talking about in this conference. Red, yellow, black, and white. All of us want green. And so we're talking about how to come together as people and make some stuff happen. But Andy and Jesse, they tore it up last night. Andrew said, if we quit buying weaves and buy the business, we'd be a whole lot better off. They gave us such good information, and you know Jesse with the rhymes, but every one of them are somebody. But every one of them was pertinent in us getting to become achievers. You know, who are we? We are the driven to achieve achievers. Absolutely. Women.
That's who we are.
We are driven to achieve, and we are achievers.
That's right. We're women who are driven to achieve.
Yes, that's right. And we own our own businesses.
Yes, we do.
A-Love Counseling Center. Ding, 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 ding. We want you to come if you need help. Don't feel bad and don't feel bad. Just come and get some counseling.
Hey guys, it's going to be, Dr. Tonya is awesome at what she does. I'm not just plugging her because she's my best friend, but because she's amazing. Please look for our, we're going to have an event, and I'm just throwing a name out, demythicizing counseling in the black community, where you're going to get to have some cookies, coffee, tea, and get to just to talk with Dr. Tonya about the importance of getting counseling. She's going to take out all the myths, such as,
well, I had a person tell me this week whose child was suicidal that she didn't need counseling, but the child was pretty much suicidal because of her. The mom was rough. And so we really need to look in the mirror and say, could some of this be my fault? I know it's very difficult to take responsibility for bad behavior, but we are going to have to start taking responsibility for bad behavior. I put a thing on my Facebook page that talked about, do you know your child's name? And we named about, I don't know how many, at least 15 names other than your child's name that we call them, with the ASS behind it. And so what we're saying is, if you have an anger issue, come and take one of our anger management classes. They're all day, well, not all day, they're 8-hour classes. They're $65 if you have a probation officer, and $85 if you're coming to just take it. Some spouses and some couples need to come and take anger management. We give you tools to manage your anger so that you're not hitting each other in the head, cussing each other out, calling your kids bad names, or whatever. You can be together in unity. Unite.
That's right. And again, being at this conference is leaders uniting, coming together with networking. We found some awesome people to be guests on our Driven to Achieve Achievers show. So we got these kids here, man. They are starting out young with businesses and ideas that are outstanding. It is super amazing. Super amazing. We're going to show these kids on our show, and I'm sure Dr. Tonya, she's been bragging on their business plans. Tell them about Dr.
Man, let me tell you something. I paid $600 to learn how to write a business plan.
Wow.
There was this little kid and what they did last night is they gave out awards, 15,000, 1,500, 1,000. So they had kids from all over the United States they came out. They tried to sell us their business so that they could win first, second, third, whatever place. So the first kid came out. Let me tell you, if you know what a SWAT is, that boy was bad. He told us who his competition was, what he was going to do to beat his competition, how much money he was going to make. That young man threw down. I was so impressed. I said, I choose him. Yeah, if he was 14. I said, I choose him. Now, what he does is art. And he teaches people art for healing. And so he was super dynamic. I couldn't believe it. I was punching Tonie. Look at him how he's doing his SWAT. That boy tore that up. So that's another thing we need to learn. We want money, but it's not, well, some people say it's going to fall out of the sky. I personally haven't experienced that. I mean, God has put some in the mailbox that I hadn't planned on, and that's fine, but I haven't had it quite fall out of the sky yet. So one of the things, but here they're talking about how banks don't give money to blacks, and what banks, some banks are here like Wells Fargo, because they got in trouble, now they're doing a whole lot of super dynamic stuff to help blacks get grants and money and homes and all kinds of stuff, small business loans. So Wells Fargo was on point. They really impressed us today. We have a lot of businesses here that are trying to lend money, but we've had the head of the Reserve Bank and Federal Reserve Bank and all kinds of people come in and talk about money. Money, if we don't make it financially, we're not going to make it. And so was it Jesse that said if you spend more than you earn, then you're what did he say? If you spend more than you earn, you're in suicide. You're suicide. So I continue to say I'm a consumer, and I'm trying to learn how to do better, because I have so much stuff in my house that I didn't need to buy, honestly, and we probably all do. And so I think back over all that money I could have invested, and Jesse kept saying buy stock, buy stock, buy stock. And so that $2 that Keisha Lance Bottoms and her husband invested in Home Depot stock, now they're millionaires. And so that's what they're telling us. That take that money and invest. Don't let your kids talk you into those $160 gym shoes. Take that $160 and invest it for their future, for their college plan, for whatever, to pay your home off, so that we're not always consumers. We need to be owners.
And back to that for unity. This is not a black, white, Indian, Puerto Rican thing. We need to all come together and learn the value of money. Consuming is one thing, but being on the other end of the consumer, being a producer, and that's what being driven to achieve is all about. We're working on products to change your thinking. Dr. Tonya's counseling is based on cognitive behavior therapy. I'm gonna let her explain, but I'm gonna share something with you that our products are based on cognitive behavior, because we believe that if we can change your thinking, we can change your behavior. And she's going to explain more, and after she explains it, we're going to talk to you about what we're doing with our books to help you with that as well. Dr. Tonya, can you explain in detail?
Well, okay, so let's say we have a drug dealer or a user. Let's say user. And the user says to me, Dr. Brown, everybody smokes weed, right? Well, nobody in my world smokes weed. So it is based on his belief that everybody smokes weed. So what my job as the therapist to do is to let him see that his thinking is skewed. Everybody doesn't smoke weed. Maybe everyone in his environment smokes weed. And so we need to work with that. But if you're under faulty thinking or stinky thinking, then you can't fix it. And so we have to come in and say, everybody doesn't. It's just in your world, because I don't know anybody in my world that does. So that is what cognitive behavior is. Cognitive is talking about your brain, your mind, your thinking. If you can change your thinking, you can change your behavior. But if you believe that everybody is a weed smoker, then you're going to be a weed smoker. We're going to move. Some of the big wigs are coming. I think they want our area. So we're going to come back to you a little later and tell you about
Driven to Achieve.
Driven to Achieve, the ABCs of Life. Driven to Achieve, the ABCs of Life Workbook Companion. Driven to Achieve Movie Studio. Driven to Achieve People TV Show. And coming soon, Driven to Achieve Institute.
Stand by.
Bye.